his poetry, 2 books, novel, Arcadio, and pedagogy, bilingualism. And I hear Pedro has another novel in the works. Mr. Restrepo is also a polyglot and human rights activist. Pedro, take it away.
Thank you very much. I am very pleased and honored to be here. I thank the group of writers in exile for their support, and also to PEN Canada that makes this possible. Okay, I was born in Colombia, in Bogota, in the capital city. But very young, I went to live in the Yoruba region. It's in the northern part of the country. And there, my father was an agronomist, an activist, and also an entrepreneur. We lived there, and because of violence and public order, we had to leave again, and we went to Bogota. That was my first exile, so to speak, because this is the region that I remember, full of banana plantations, and I wanted to be an entrepreneur like my father, and I wanted to be an agronomist as well. Then in 1995, my father was killed. We knew that he was going to be killed because the paramilitary groups were operating in that region, and he was an activist. He wanted human rights, and we had to leave the country. And this is the poem that I wrote in the memory of my father, and the title is Shadows or Sombras. I am going to read it in Spanish. You have the translations available on your table, and it goes like this. Sombras. Una mañana de matices infernales, con sol ardiente y sombras despreciables te fuiste, te perdiste. Y en las inmensas plantaciones que absorben la maldad de algunos hombres, te esfumaste. Te fuiste, te perdiste. Y cuando regresé y no pude verte, ya no había mariposas ni encanto, y mi llanto ya no pude contenerlo. Te fuiste, te perdiste, tal vez con parte de mi alegría dejándome solo luchando. Te perdiste, busco en los niños, no puedo encontrarte. Lamento triste el día de tu viaje. Te fuiste en una caja lánguida tan triste, donde nunca quise verte. Tal vez, si algún día piensas que la tierra vale la pena, regresa con los niños, habrá una cuna abierta. Espero verte, espero verte. Tal vez juguemos fútbol y veamos los partidos en la tele. Tal vez juguemos fútbol y veamos los partidos en la tele. Always happens to me. Okay, this is an excerpt of my novel Arcadio that I published in 2005. I published 2 editions of this novel, and this is the story. In this story, I want to depict the way a person goes into a dwindling spiral in life. And because this is the story of a very prominent lawyer and a very famous lawyer, and he with a very beautiful, so to speak, life, a good-looking girlfriend, and then he becomes an addict to eating garbage. And then this story depicts very, very accurately the dwindling spiral in his life. And I am going to read an excerpt of this novel. It says, in contrast, he could see in the other people's faces what he could not see in himself. 2 minutes were enough to get to know a person. He observed their predominant facial features and gestures. For example, when a person was depressed, which he was on occasion, the despondency causes certain expression lines that are very difficult to notice, especially in young people. Even in them, one can see that they suffer, or that they are depressed, or that they are often angry. He did this very frequently, and he used it successfully in business and interpersonal relationships. But he never found himself in the presence of someone who could see it in him. Or at least, that's what he thought. In the same way that he saw it in others. He continued like this, his constant experiments with garbage. He tried to never consume too much, and if possible, control the way he ingested it. And in the evening hours, which were the most favorable for him because the darkness of night provides cover and shelter to the soul who wants to hide from the world temporarily. This did not bother Arcadio. At this point, he just wanted to continue with his two lives. The one that had made him successful and the new one. He was always looking for the balance between the two. After months of taking a break, Arcadio went back to his office. His relationship with his girlfriend was distant in this final phase, which was obvious and convenient for both, but not yet formalized. At work, Arcadio reclaimed his normal life. The long and arduous tasks at the office continued daily, as before. There was no pause, sometimes not even for lunch. Everything was progressing perfectly, and the thriving law firm did better than ever. All the important cases were sent there, and Arcadio's credibility was reaching a very high point. His name was even being discussed in certain political circles for important positions in government, which flattered him, but at the same time made him feel bad at times due to his life in the underworld. This is the excerpt of this book. When I had to flee the country for the first time, that was in 1994. I was a young man in Mexico. I had lost my life. I had lost my father. My mother went to the States, so I was alone in Mexico just with some friends, and I felt very sad, terribly sad. That was an awful experience. But in the middle of that moment, that was very painful for me. I used to go to the roof of my building in this huge Mexico City and see all these lights. That's what I saw when I went there. And I wrote a poem that was my relief, and that gave me the scope of what we really are in life. We're just energy and reverberations in the space and living in bond boxes. So I wrote this immigrant. I am going to read it in French. I initially wrote it in French, so I am going to share it. The translation is there. I realized that no matter where we are, no matter where the life takes us, we're always going to be immigrants. We're here. We don't know what will happen tomorrow, and our attitude is the one that prevents suffering. Yes. So I think that helped me a lot as an immigrant. I don't know if I have to flee any other country again. I don't really care, because I know that everything is in me, is inside me. Okay. So this is.
If we go over here, people will be able to.
Okay. Je suis un immigrant, un créateur d'ici et d'ailleurs. Je suis comme l'eau, comme la petite goutte qui tombe dans le temps. Je suis un étranger, un âme qui va et vient, un minuscule barque qui court dans le monde. Je suis aligné sans maçon ni pays, sans le sang qui court dans le vent. Je suis un enfant de cet univers, mais je n'ai pas de mère ou de père. Je serai toujours un immigrant, une créature sans terre, un orphelin. Merci. Thank you. Gracias.